Greetings, this is Vaughn Fry, YouTube's #1 film commentator, and you're joining me now for a commentary track for Back to the Future Part 3, as viewed on Netflix. If you'd like to cue this up with your viewing of Back to the Future Part 3, go ahead and go to 0000 and hit play now. Rated PG, and it doesn't say why. Oh, we have changed our Universal logo over here. This is 1990. We're going to be celebrating a Universal anniversary, so we're going through a cavalcade of Universal logos right now. Now we have the big blue one, fairly familiar to those who watched the previous installments. And my favorite, the Universal wrapping around the globe. Really enjoy that one. Reminds me of Jurassic Park. They would then update it to this kind of candy-colored globe for years to come, and I hated the crap out of that. This movie came out in 1990. It was the first sequel to be shot back-to-back with another sequel. Oh yes, Steven Spielberg presents. We got to get our credit for what little we did. As previously stated, if we want to give filmmaking credit here, it's Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale. Saturday, November 12th, 1955. This is a movie that I saw wildly out of sequence with the others. I think I saw Back to the Future Part 3 before seeing the other films. And there were some things about this that kind of threw me off as to how the movie series worked. We'll get to that when we get there. But it was kind of like I didn't understand the time travel. I mean, come on, it was 1990. I was like 5. This is such a whiz-bang YouTube crash edited together finale sequence. They just trimmed all the fat out of this. This is the sort of the jump cut style frantic YouTube editing we get. And here we go. I think some people can start watching these movies and be confused as to which one they're watching. Oh, hey, is that Back to the Future? Oh, 2? No, wait, is it 3? And, oh no, Marty didn't leave. Interacting with a different Doc Brown than he was, right? Uh, well, that's Marty stuck in the past, needing to interact with this Doc Brown of the 50s, who's finding out that not only did he have to transport Marty McFly to 1985, now he has more task at hand. There's actually a theory going around on YouTube. It looks like we have kind of faked in some rain there, but sprinkled it in front. So there's a guy called Two Rights on his channel. It's a modest 2.2k subscribers as of this recording. And he has this theory that in the first Back to the Future film, we're not watching the original timeline. What we're seeing is actually Doc Brown's attempt to rectify things for Marty McFly, a troubled teen who ends up stealing his car one night, going 88 miles per hour and going back in time, and then being stuck there. But he's able to piece together the clues and understand, oh, hey, the lightning bolt hit here, so I'm going to have a campaign to save the clock tower, and it's going to go up to this teenager, and everything's going to direct him in the path needed to save a different version of him. There we go, double back. ZZ Top. So this is where ZZ Top is coming into the series. Alice Vistry, strong throughout. You don't get those bombastic scores that don't overswamp the film these days. Scores these days are entirely forgettable. So yeah, the theory is that the first timeline we watch is not the original timeline. I don't think there's a lot in the story to support that. It would be interesting if there was a big reveal for that afterwards. But it kind of makes some things reverse canon sensible. Like I said before, Marty McFly does not strike you as a teenager who would be helping a scientist on the side as like some kind of side gig job or hobby. It doesn't make a lot of sense. But what if Doc Brown was like Obi-Wan Kenobi and he forced his way into the life, keeping an eye on Marty McFly till the fateful day when he's ready to go with the time machine? We do get to see the hoverboard, very popular item from the previous film, and it'll be appearing much later in this movie for a bigger sequence. I think this is the black sheep of the franchise, and it's not that this is a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination. The film industry would do so good to have a Back to the Future Part 3 now. But the reality is that it doesn't have the tidbits that make for a memorable movie the way the first two did. There's a lot of good quotes and lines and concepts from the first. That you have the hoverboard, this optimistic view of the future, and hey, what's our future going to be like? You go back to the past too far, the Old West. No one alive can relate to it. They don't have nostalgia for it. They're not going to talk about it as much. And every once in a while you see a Western movie get made, but it never comes back as like a big genre. Okay, why does he need to be scared? You already saw him chill. Jeez. Oh, here's where he goes, I got a letter. And it's like, they edit that together for the little love story Back to the Future fake trailer. Strange future boy. Yeah, there's a misconception that there is airtight logic to the time travel in these films. And I would say it's not that it's an airtight plot. There are holes, they're just not all that obvious. For example, in Back to the Future Part 2, old Biff with the cane is able to steal the almanac and then come back to the same 2015 that Doc and Brown have gotten to, even though him dropping off the almanac to young Biff should have altered the timeline and given him a different 2015 to return to, thus never actually getting the DeLorean back in the hands of Doc and Marty. Part 3 also doesn't have as much fun with the time travel concept as 2, where we have to keep redoing this, but you don't interfere with that. Instead, 3 is more like Part 1. It's a fun story of time travel used as a way to get you to a location. Okay? Time travel is just the conduit in which you get to see your parents, how they met in the 50s. Time travel is just conduit to get Doc Brown into the Old West. So he's got this big letter here talking about how he's doing well and dandy in 1885, approximately 100 years before the first film. And everything's going great, and not to worry about him. And it's pretty much the idea. However, shortly after this is written, he gets killed by, it's not Griff, it's not Biff, it's Buford, right? Buford Tannen. And so they have to go back and save him. To do this, the DeLorean has been stashed away in a cave, like a mine shaft. Thankfully not discovered, or otherwise that would throw everything out of whack. There's another interesting thing about this movie. Granted, it's Old West. It's 50s, it's Old West, it's 80s. It's 1990 also. This is also, to the best of my recollection, the first steampunk blockbuster. I guess one maybe was it 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea possibility of it. I just kind of think that this may make a stronger case for steampunk, especially once we get the train going as a time machine vessel. Copernicus, I'd hate to have to call a dog Copernicus, it's too long. You want one syllable names, guys. I don't know a lot of people going by Doc. They want to go by Doctor, right? They want to go by Doctor and then first name or last name. Not a lot of Martys. Certainly never run across a Biff. Oh, another cemetery. You see a cemetery in a Back to the Future, take a shot. It's about getting to that point, isn't it? Copernicus does not have as much hair as Einstein. Mentions Jules Verne. Steampunkish. There he goes, mentions 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, right? Doc Brand will mention these things he's talking to Marty, who doesn't pay attention or seemingly is ignoring him, and it's to the audience in a sort of way to make a suggestion. Yep, here we go. What do we got? Okay, so what we're going to see here is the only DeLorean in private hands that was screen used in the movie. The DeLorean used in Back to the Future Part 3, which we see with the 50s wheels, which don't look so good, and the white walls, tires, right? That's the only one in private hands. There's also a truck at the end of this movie. The original SR5 that Marty had was given away in a prize at the conclusion of the creation of the first movie, and I think it was then totaled. It was wrecked. There was then another one used for scenes in 2 and definitely 3, and it's privately owned, and it was painted orange after the fact, and then someone had reacquired it and gotten it back to looking movie spec. You can find videos on this particular car and the SR5 on YouTube. But, it's like with the issue with this one is no one wants stuff from this movie. Like, hey, I got a DeLorean from Back to the Future. Oh, you did? Part 3. Oh, it's as cool as it would be to have a movie DeLorean from Back to the Future franchise. You add the Part 3 on it. It's like, oh. Oh, of course, Copernicus is going to see the tombstone here, and now it's not just an issue of getting Marty McFly back home. Oh, hey, we got this DeLorean Doc Brown left us from the past. But hey, I can't just go back to 1985. I have to get to 1885 and save you. Great Scott. Is the Great Scott counter at 2 for this film? I could have sworn, now I have the subtitles here, I thought, wasn't Great Scott a compound word? It was one word, right? I feel like Great Scott, it was derived from the German Gruß Gott. Thomas Wilson is so good in this franchise as Biff. It's amazing. He couldn't keep getting more and more high profile gigs. Because think about it, he has to play a villain in like a villain against himself before acting in front of a green screen for a CGI creature was a thing. He has to play essentially four different versions of a villain because you can't really call oh gosh, no, maybe five: young Biff, medium Biff, old Biff, Griff, Buford. Like, wow, just the demands for that compared to what everybody else is doing. Later, we will have that clock tower picture with Marty included. So what's the deal? Is it suggested that Doc Brown made the clock tower? I'm bringing you home. Okay, we're about to see the part where I got very confused about the ins and outs of how time travel works in this series because when you grow up in like the 80s and 90s, you see a lot of movies out of order. It's not like we had every movie on demand floating around on the internet to be pulled down and sucked into our TV and ingested with our eyes. It was highly possible and likely that you were going to see films out of order. I think I saw Aliens and Alien 3 before seeing Alien. I saw Terminator 2 before seeing The Terminator. I definitely saw Back to the Future Part 3 before realizing I had seen the first two parts. So, what I was really confused about, first of all, this is not a very long stretch to get up to 88 miles per hour. That a drive-in theater. This is nowhere near Hill Valley. This is like Monument Valley. Where you're going, there are no roads. Okay, so he's going to struggle to get up to 88 miles per hour here, but I thought, because of the way the transition works here, that mural with the Indians, Native Americans, had something to do with them appearing in the past. That it's not some kind of coincidence that he runs across a cavalcade of charging engines, right? I thought that something about if you put that in front of him, it'll appear in the past. Like 5-year-old logic, guys. You couldn't have found a better stretch for this, honestly. The DeLorean DMC-12 is not a fast ride, and it's not going to be any faster in the 50s. That is not a starter pistol right there, buddy. Looks like a Colt 45. So the idea is Doc Brown loses a gunfight, but here he is using a gun like he's pretty accustomed to it. I mean, come on, you're one-handing a 45? And here we go. So many sparks. Throw it in reverse, buddy. You don't get a ton of DeLorean action, and the DeLorean in this film doesn't look as cool as it had. I think that in some ways that hurts the mystique. The effect that has makes one less inclined to view this because you want to see the cool stuff, right? Wild West with Marty dressing kind of goofy here. isn't cool. Oh, lucky you. There's the cave. So I do have, if you, I don't know if you've noticed, hopefully there's not a lot of popping sounds and the audio is pretty good here. I have a new microphone setup and I hope that's okay with you guys. I hope this sounds fine. I have a very technologically advanced windscreen from Shure. It's on a Shure SM57. I know it's not a vocal mic, but it's the same microphone, the same windscreen the president uses. I think that'd give me an authoritative voice. That was my logic about 12 years ago when I bought the microphone. I now have a different arm that I'll be doing a video of some kind on. I'm not super thrilled with it, but it also costs 5 times less than the Yellowtech Mika, so it just doesn't have the on the fly adjustability. I'll tell you that much. Oh no, the arrow got the did it get the flux capacitor? There's always got to be some kind of issue with the time machine stopping it, huh? I guess part 2 is where we have the most reliable time machine. Fuel line get hit. Is that it? Oh no. Oh, that was not a bear's foot. That is a man in a costume. And that reverse shot, not a bear, and it's pretty obvious. In fact, there is no way in hell they use a live bear if they made this movie today. Animal rights, we can't help it. No matter how you trained him, it had to be through means of cruelty. CGI bear. Oh man, if you could just go back to the 80s, the early 90s, and watch people fall down hills. Whatever happened to falling down hills in movies? We had to get fancy there with our robot computer controlled motion camera, right? See, another similarity to part 1. He wakes up. He's concussed in front of his family, ancestors. Actually, are your ancestors behind you or in front of you in the timeline, or just anybody down the road? Is he their ancestor also, and they're his ancestor? Is that how that works? McFly Farm. Oh man, why do I keep forgetting this actress's name? Again, she doesn't have the as big of a role this time around as previous. And now it's a little weirder though because she's married to a guy played by Michael J. Fox, which doesn't really keep with the theme, but at the same time it makes sense because why would a guy that looks like Crispin Glover be the dad? He's going by the name Clint Eastwood. So again, like the first film, he has a pseudonym he goes by. Mr. Clint Eastwood was here visiting. And they're a very Irish sounding. They got the Irish accent and they just arrived in the West. There's William first born in America, right? Well, they handed off the object. That looks pretty smooth. Reverse shot, you got somebody else playing old-timey McFly there, yep. But it's not distracting. Hell, probably has bigger hands than Michael J. Fox. Oh, was her character whole lineage just never a great cook? Is that what we're getting at here? Stay in the barn with the pigs, huh? I would think this is a pretty spacious cabin home for the circumstances. 1885. They got multiple rooms. Uh, a pretty good sized space from the looks of things. Little Will never liked strangers. How much experience does Little Will have with strangers? Great grandfather. Oh, your great grandfather just peed on you, buddy. Oh, look, he's got the Nike still. I think he's gonna have to acquire some boots. Also, that style of hat is not the gunslinger, uh, big shot hat. You know, you need the 10-gallon. So here's Hill Valley. Yep, there's the hills, and this is the valley. I think they had to build all of this for this movie, and then, or maybe parts of this are used elsewhere in other films. There certainly are towns or townships and things built up, or municipality kind of established that are then reused for films. And the Western I did with West Studi, The Only Good Indian, we have a place called Cowtown. It's near downtown Wichita, Kansas, and aside from planes constantly flying overhead, looked pretty Old West-like. And it gets reused in various things, smaller productions. If somebody wants to come into Kansas and make a Western, sure enough, you'll see storefronts from Cowtown. And it looks pretty similar to this. Here we go. We're always visiting the center part of Hill Valley, seeing the clock tower, the importance of time, right? Well, I got some news for you guys. Time travel is not possible because time is a creation of the human consciousness and our attempt to deal with the passage of events. There is no time-space continuum. There's space. Things happen in it. That to suggest that there's a relationship between time and space and that it's actually the same thing would be like saying space happiness. We have to we're bending the fabric of space and the value of happy. You can't actively measure happiness, and our attempts to measure time are just our ways to deal with it. It's all a matter of perspective. That's why if you say time is relative, that rings true. Hell, if time travel was possible, I think we'd see some evidence of it by now. Granted, there was so much time in the before and after. Oh, did someone eventually come to our time? Surely. I mean, come on, we had the 1980s. Who wouldn't want to see that? Yes, we gotta not go too hard with the liquor in our PG movie. You in here? Pour whiskey. I never understood how bars function. You never see them in movies. Man, that's some strong stuff. It's got like acid churning. Okay, so people always come up, they get a drink, right? You never see them pay. I don't know how they keep track of it. I don't know how it works in actual bars. And because it would look so socially awkward to try to pay for a drink not knowing how the whole process works, I just avoid it altogether. Oh yes, we got Buford here. He doesn't look the same. Like I uh, had second guess whether or not there was a different actor playing him. He just looks so different. He has a different posse too. We have now completely removed uh, Billy Zane from the film. Yeah, you're making fun of his moccasins, his Nikes, huh? What are those? Instead of a soda shop, instead of a 80s cafe, we have a bar. And wherever there is to be drinking, a tannin will arrive, looking for a fight. Why would you hate the name Mad Dog? That's like the kind of name you come up with to make people call you. It's not like they call him Sissy. Oh, we got the frantic ricochet sounds. Oh, let's do some moonwalking. We don't have Michael J. Fox's face in frame for that, so maybe it's not him doing it, but everybody's impressed. Oh no, the chew. Always something gross uh, hitting a tannin, isn't it? You ran out of bullets. I would halfway want to count that again. Did he shoot 6 times? Once again, we have a chase. This is a mirror of the original 1985 film. Instead of a love story for the McFlys, we get a love story for Doc Brown. So this is the first film in which uh, the stakes center around Doc, really. It's not Marty going back and reaping the benefits, looking to get rich with the almanac, none of that stuff. Fixing Marty's family, fixing his kids. This is the Mission Doc Brown. They largely got the best of him here. He gets the best of them in every other pursuit, but Doc Brown comes to the rescue. And they got some real stakes here, possibly. If this isn't, yep, they're going for the hanging. I mean, at least it's teenage prank type stakes in 55 and 2015, right? 1885, they play for keeps. Okay, now we have a very steampunk looking gun over here. It'll shoot a flea off a tick at 500 yards, but somehow you're going to lose the gunfight. I don't believe anyone whips out steampunk goggles in this movie. Blacksmith, you're supposed to put shoes on the horse, and you never paid. Oh, they have a they have a bit of a grudge. keep in mind that this Doc Brown is the Doc Brown from 85. He went to the future. He had stuff done to his chin to remove the rubber cement. This guy's seen a lot of stuff. There's a lot of possibilities he can bring to the past. In the letter, he writes about Claire and happiness, going to start a family, whatever, right? But here, he hasn't yet met Claire. Mrs. Ted Danson. Yeah, hug it out, Broseph. Or hanged, yeah. That could have happened. Well, you did. Shot in the back over a matter of $80. So that's the gunfight, and shot in the back. Now I wish I'd paid him off. It's not too late. Maybe you could still do that. Look at all this steampunk. Actual steam. I haven't seen all of, was 1,000 Ways to Die in the West, 1,001, something like. But they make a bit of an Easter egg cameo type thing here, where it's like, oh, Doc Brown's in 1885. Okay, so we're gonna have him work on the DeLorean. Only now it's decrepit present day. Christopher Lloyd, and it's man, aged hard. This new teacher coming to town. Her name's Clara Clayton. Oh wait, this must be the gal. That I would fall in love at first sight? Ha! Don't be ridiculous. A man of science. Oh, we have now mentioned Jennifer. Remember, going to be played by second Jennifer, Elizabeth Shue. Given the success of the first Karate Kid, I'm kind of surprised she wasn't around for more. Oh, what do we got going with this machine, huh? What? Isn't it an ice cube? Rather yellowish. All that trouble for an ice maker, huh? You guys ever have grandparents that call the refrigerator the ice box? Gotta get some gas. You mean you were out of gas? Yeah, it's no big deal. We got Mr. Fusion, right? Mr. Fusion powers the time circuits. Flux capacitor. An internal combustion engine runs on ordinary gasoline. Why would that not be the first thing to be changed? Hey, now it's rechargeable. I mean, come on. We can't get up to 88 miles per hour unless we can get a train into overdrive. No, the horses are not. They shouldn't even bothered with this horse concept. That's not going to get anywhere close. Kind of makes you want to go to to some festival where you have a stagecoach that is the DeLorean. Oh man, should have brought a lot of extra fuel with them for the time travel. You know, some precautions needed to be made. Now we're just damaging the sucker. It blew the fuel injection manifold. It'll take a month to rebuild it. A month? Do you have to hit a button at 88 miles per hour, or is it really just as soon as it gets to 88, everything engages? Like, regardless. You could drop it off a cliff and pray that the inertia doesn't carry through when you land elsewhere. And we are going to time that train, and that went perfect, didn't it? I've had her up to 55 myself. Yep, I'd like to brag about my train to strangers. Have a little bet. Yeah, you don't haul no cars. Maybe you go downhill to a degree. Maybe it could be done, huh? Man, they are putting a lot into this plan, aren't they? I mean, justifiably so. The stakes of everything in their lives is riding on it. I mean, hell, it's not just enough to save Doc. This is our chance to get Marty back too. They haven't built the bridge yet. Thinking fourth dimensionally. As long as we get the DeLorean up to 80 miles per hour before we hit the edge, you'll land on regular track, which hopefully won't be getting hit by a train. Or will it? Too bad no one will be around to see the awesome wreck. Yeah. Whenever there's some kind of winky talk with Doc Brown, it's like that's something that's going to change or be affected. Too bad no one will. Right? Heroic Doc Brown in action. Look at him ride. So they'll learn that Clara is supposed to go over the ravine, and then they name it after her. But he interferes with history, so may as well make out with her, right? We've already damaged history to this degree. Why not go a little further? It's not like she had some time ahead of her that needed to be protected. If her whole legacy is she's already dead and we already affected that, then why not go for the fall in love angle? All my stuff. They don't drop things off of cliffs these days in movies now, do they? It'd be CGI. You know, not gonna lie. Oh man, I forgot the actress name. Never super crazy hot. Yeah, I'll say that. Mary Steenburgen, right? Yeah. Oh wait, Clara Clayton. Huh? Now I'm remembering things. I'm gonna look at the notes. Is she not writing Side Saddle? All right, we got to get going. Come on, Doc. We got really pressing matters here. Remember, you don't fall in love at first sight, right, Doc? Science man? Oh, man, the game you'd have to pick up women looking like Doc Brown. Destiny. What? Definitely playing up the obvious smitten there, Christopher Lloyd. I'm local science blacksmith. And I think she'll make mention of Jules Verne. It's like, oh, we like Jules Verne together? Okay, cool. Now we're in love. It wouldn't be something for him to like Tom Clancy, right? Somebody that she can't know to like. Got to have that common interest. Gonna be seeing lots of. I might see her again in passing. Come on. Yeah, she almost ended up at the bottom of Clayton Ravine. What? Doc. I'm wondering if these two had to be trained to ride horse specifically for this movie. I could assume as much. This also might be the last sci-fi film. Well, Total Recall's in there too. Well, one could say Total Recall is CGI with the X-ray machine, but this could be like the last big sci-fi movie of Hollywood to not use CGI. Because once Terminator 2 gets in there, it's like, okay, we got to change some stuff up, right? Because if you don't use CGI at that point, now all your stuff's old. It's my understanding that Blade Runner, the 82 film, not the sequel much later, is the last all optical no or the last no digital sci-fi film. Doc Brown and his fanciful models. All right, so how much more are we going to spell this out? Do we have to make the model to prove this to Doc Brown, or are we proving it to Marty? Because it seems like he's making a lot of models for himself. And always needing to power his models, it doesn't make a ton of sense to me, because it's not like the model has the flux capacitor, and oh hey, since it worked totally on the model, that proves it. Maximum speed and catch. Oh shit, what? Oh, damn it. I must have said something that triggered my Xbox to do things. Oh, I'm going to be like a few seconds behind you guys. I swear every time I turn off that setting, something will happen. That actually earlier in the film, it brought up hey, the Xbox is listening to you to do stuff. And now this time it brought up the B word search engine. I don't want to say. Yeah, that's actually the first time it's thrown me out of an app to do stuff instead of just bringing up an annoying window during a commentary. I've got to look through the settings and make sure all that stuff's disabled. I swear every time I do, they make some kind of update to re-enable it. It's like, hey, too many people disabled these search functions. We want to make sure that it's always listening to you. Maybe I have to totally disconnect the Kinect in the first place, and that's gonna be a pain. But yeah, I know I'm like the only person with the Xbox One using a Kinect right now. But I might stream some. I might stream some Hollow Knight. Thinking about doing a stream of that, so, play it, because like a lot of people saying, "Oh, you got to give that game a second chance." And most of them are not saying so in as friendly of a manner. Oh, it's so awkward for Marty back here coughing as he's not the center of attention. Certainly is a thing going in this movie where people have to come into their center of operation, right? She's coming to see Doc as Marty's mom came to see him while they were going through the same kind of plans. Again, a mirror of the first film. This is a sort of glamorous version of the Old West. There's not a lot of whorehouse or racism stuff, right? Okay, we have a festival here. We haven't finished the clock tower, so fitting you and I here to witness this. It's too bad I didn't bring my camera, and there, oh, someone's got a camera. Now Marty has seen this picture before, and now he's going to be inside of it. And here's ZZ Top. They have a guitar spin gimmick thing they'll be doing here, also with the drum set. You may have forgotten about the McFlys of this time. They'll be making an appearance here. Samuel Colt. What? A gun shooting thing I can do? Low price of $12 for your Colt Peacemaker. I think $12 is pretty good amount of money for that time. Oh, come on. Yeah. Use your moves, Doc. That would be hilarious if she said, Doc. I don't think this is quite square dancing. I gotta show off how good of a shot I am. The video games have taught me. What was it? Was it Hogan's Alley? Was that what it was? That he was playing at the 85, the 80 Cafe 80s, right? Guy is so anxious to get Marty McFly to shoot this gun. Even a baby could do it. Remember? Hey, isn't that a baby's game? Huh? A little callback to part 2. This movie will be getting a lot of those callbacks, a lot of the um, things in this, a lot of plot lines and devices in this movie have the seeds planted in part 2. It's shown a little brief history on Buford Tannen in front of the casino. The Clint Eastwood talk, seeing Fistful of Dollars with the bulletproof vest plate over the poncho. Shot at 7-Eleven. Yeah, I used to see arcade machines set up in convenience stores. I feel like the arcade machine I would see most prevalent in an area would be Rampage. You go to a little Pizza Hut and there's a Rampage in the corner. And it's not like there was other machines. There's Strickland. Look at the hair on Strickland and the mustache. Always had a grudge with the Tannen clan, huh? I don't recognize the guy he threw the knife at. Man, the stakes again raised in the 1800s. I want to get you on detention. I want to see you hung. Discipline passed down from generations of Stricklands there. He's got some respectful clothes now. Yep. Ditched your hat. Sorry. Frisbee pies. Hey, whoa, far out. That's where frisbees come from. Oh, what skill does Doc Brown not possess? He dances, he rides the horses, he can shoot. He's the blacksmith. Still got a grudge against my horse throwing that shoe. ZZ Top certainly fit in visually for making a cameo in the West, don't they? If I remember correctly, Dustin Hill, Dusty of ZZ Top, is Hank Hill's cousin or something, and like he disowns him because he likes to sing the songs. Oh, it's embarrassing. Well, look at what we have here. You guys want to talk like a villain someday? No good guy ever says, "Look what we have here." Yeah, I'm all about dancing with other people's women. That's what I do. My 3 guys in my posse are here to hold you back. $80, man. That's a pretty heavy price in that time. I wonder if he had his briefcase full of currency from different time periods with him. Uh-oh, what do we got going here? And I remember the Frisbee, and there's the Frisbee. Oh, it's so convenient. Said no firearms. You got that little rinky-dink thing. Honestly, probably wouldn't kill him. I think that would possibly be a caliber small enough to not break the skin, as they say. But now Marty has interfered, so it's you who I'm going after this Monday. Marty will get some catharsis with the chicken thing. It seems as though the Tannins from time began have understood that the way to get to the McFlys is to call them chicken. No, nobody calls me yellow. Nobody calls me chicken. Marty will get out of that. He ends up coming to say no by the end of this movie. And so that's the big arc for Marty McFly in the series. I'll be back this way Monday. Well, where are you going beside then? When? High noon? Noon? I do my killing before breakfast. 7. 8. I do my killing after breakfast. I mean, he could have talked him into doing this a little later, because it does interfere. There's always a pressing matter that has to be done, and then we have to get to a specific time to activate the time machine. First movie, lightning strikes at this time. In this movie, the train runs at this time. And there we are with the twirling of the guitar and the drum. It's good to have a ticking clock, a mechanism in a film that keeps the show on the road. We have to have something to lead up to. When you watch a ton of independent films like I have, and there's no word of mouth, there's nothing about them whatsoever, you start the movie and you see the title and that's it. You could have a lot of confusion about when does this end. Like, are we going somewhere with this? Well, we know we have to meet the train. We have a duel at this time. Things like that can help retain interest in a crowd. You're very brave standing up to him. We're going to need to measure your coffin. We want to make sure that that's the gun that takes down Tannen. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no problem. If you lose, I'm taking it back. Well, it won't be that big of an issue. If you lose, you're dead, right? You could have just walked away. The family lecture here. He's explaining to him the lesson he learns here. You let him rally up, all this stuff, right? I had a brother. He got into a fight. He got provoked into a fight. Thinks he's a coward, loses. Got a Bowie knife shoved in him. It's this conversation is where Marty changes his ways. I'll think about it all the time. There we go. That moon looks like it might have been put there in post. There's a fine line to lighting scenes outdoors at night. This looks really good. You have a black sky, right? I think you should be able to see more stars, given that there's no metropolis, there's no city, they don't have the light pollution. But you need to light these people. You light the barn, the house. A lot of times you throw up some blue gels. Some people overdo it. I feel like it gets overdone a lot these days. And especially with digital equipment, you end up getting a ton of grain if done wrong. You don't really have the grain issue with film when it comes to shooting at night. I mentioned Captain Nemo. We're sprunking into steampunk. It was published 10 years ago. You couldn't have been reading as a little boy. Yeah, I meant, yeah, it made me feel like a little boy. Oh, yeah, that's what you want to tell a girl. You make me feel like a little boy. Yeah, well, because he's not from around here, baby. A shooting star. I said barn, but is that the schoolhouse? The inventions he has in this time make me think of Honey, I Shrunk the Kid. We do have a lot of scenes of Marty waking up in these movies, don't we? Oh, we got a little bit of butt shot. Oh no, Doc's not home. Wait, did he just go and make it all the way with Miss Clara before marriage? Got to work on my shooting. And now we have a Taxi Driver reference. That happens in many of films that are not rated R. All the kids watching, they don't realize what's going on here, do they? Yep, I'm cool. I got the Colt Peacemaker. Everybody thinks I'm gonna be staying up to him. Here, have a cigar. Yeah, you got a free gun. All this stuff, right? Yeah, We'll be praying for you. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Yeah, we gotta get your good suit for tomorrow for your casket, right? Nothing. He's got that I just got laid last night happiness for the next day vibe going. Always makes me think of Principal Skinner. Like he's shacked up with Mrs. Krabappel, and like next day he's like, Millhouse, you know what's cool? The tombstone has changed. Always important you take pictures of the changes so that when you go back and forth you can see if what you've done has changed the result. I don't want to buy a suit. Yeah, this is for your coffin. 2-1 against you. Might as well be prepared. Doc! He called me last night. Someone calls you a name. That's exactly because we're drilling home that if someone calling you a name, you overreact. What about my future? Oh, you know some more future about Marty, huh? Remember, in 2015, it was mentioned that he got into an accident and then had to quit playing guitar, right? He couldn't keep playing music because of an accident. Could we be seeing that accident later in the film? I'm not going with you tomorrow. What? Well, he very well could stay here. I mean, Marty has fixed the problem that would have killed him, but does this mean later Biff would get him? Quite possibly. I mean, heck, Biff almost took him out like it was like there was a destiny equation to it. You can't stop Judgment Day, only postpone the date, right? He almost shot him at the dance. Who's to say he wouldn't shoot him like the next Monday or before? Oh man, the girls got to you. They infected you, Doc. You're a scientist. If you're wondering what I am drinking, it is Mio Energy Cherry, not Mountain Dew. Hey, if I start getting sponsored, I could start. You imagine this as like a podcast? I've got a great name for the podcast, by the way. But what I'd like to do is, I would have actor, actress, famous, washed up. It wouldn't matter the difference. They would Teams, Skype, Zoom, whatever, chat with me, and we would watch the movie together, talking about it, but also conducting an interview in a sense. And you could. There's so much downtime in these films to make for perfect areas to sprinkle ads, right? Wouldn't it be great to get sponsored? And then, oh, great, so I got some ad reads I need to do. Maybe we could just take Clara with us to the future. But it's actually a good idea to take her with you because you've changed the what difference she makes on in history has already been changed, so you can't do any worse. As soon as we return, we'll destroy the Infernal Machine. Isn't there an Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine game, I believe? Marty McFly sleeping again. All right. Yeah, if you see Marty McFly sleep in this movie, take a shot. Yeah, does she have some sexy hair or what? I'm gonna go with what? Oh, Emmett, there's a lot of like talking interrupted in movies in a way that people don't say so much in reality. I'm going away. Afraid I'll never see you again. So sudden. Gals, when a guy comes up to you and says he has to go, it's because he's time traveling. Can't you get it? I have to go. That's the reason. I have to go. There's a train coming at this specific time, and that starts my time machine. I wish it was that simple. Like that's the kind of talk, gals. These are the signs that your guy is a time traveler. I don't think you can understand, little missy. Yeah, she's starting to understand it. I'll tell you, I'm from the future. I came here in a time machine that I invented. You make sure you take credit for it. I didn't just hitch a ride in a time machine like Marty McFly would tell you. I invented the sucker. You concocted this, yeah, to take advantage of me. Slap. Entertain a notion. You never run across a lady who says entertain a notion these days. I don't want to see you anymore. Huh. Doc Brown, you play with fire, you're gonna get burned. If I put this gift over here, maybe she'll see it. Eventually. Throw yourself on the bed and cry. The melodramatic nature of that is, has anyone ever done that? Now, I'm a guy, so that would be a no, but ladies listening, you ever throw yourself on the bed crying? I'm going to fall down crying somewhere. I may as well throw myself against the bed. It's softer. Whiskey, Chester. But you're Doc Brown. You don't drink the whiskey. Oh, is this going to be the dry ice effect, steam and whiskey stuff? It doesn't seem to be doing the same thing. Everybody gets sad over a lady. Clara. Googleplex. Guys, this is the Google term being used in the mainstream. 9 years before Google is founded. It was founded in 97 or 99. It might have been 97 and then really launched or in use in 99. But people had wondered what's a Google, and Google is a very large number. One in a million, one in a billion, one in a Googleplex. See? And there's Marty waking up. Oh, it's my big day, Doc. Where you at? I need the moral support. I've got my poncho. Remember, you gotta do my killing before and after breakfast. Your guys are just now waking up. Come on, weren't they been ready an hour earlier? We sleep outside. We don't have horse. I'm just tell you guys all about the future now that I'm drunk. Auto whistle and anybody walk? Of course we run. But for recreation, for fun. You run for fun? What is this, the 80s? Okay, Marty coming in. You know, when you have horses, you have to have a place to park them. You got the stable, and that's sort of like if you had a parking lot, if you think about it. We don't have stables downtown nowadays, right? As one thing replaces another, the economy adapts around it. I've lost her, Marty. There's nothing left for me here. All right, yeah. Gotta come back to the future. Back to the future. It's possible they say Back to the Future in each of the movies. To the future. Amen. Yep. Oh no, it's super strong stuff. Hilarious. I feel like that's where Peter Griffin gets falling on a table. I mean, you have just one. A fella can't hold his liquor. What? So what got him? Was it just the depression got him to talking about the future? He didn't get liquored up and spill the beans. San Francisco, end of the line. She's so depressed over Doc that she's leaving, huh? Gonna heighten the stakes. Make some wake-up juice. Got some Tabasco there. 10 minutes? Always cutting things close. How do those clothespins work without a spring? Funnel down the gullet and whoa. I would think he would have spilt that stuff all over him, instead of swallow it. The trough is not the place to go, by the way. Give him some milk in a dirty glass. An actual steam engine, guys, in our steampunk movie. We wouldn't go to the trouble of running an actual train today. We could CGI that right easily. Sheamus. The only Sheamus I know of is in the WWE. I'm gonna have to look that up. Is his name even actually Sheamus? Like I would halfway guess it isn't. I like how he says, like, calling you out, everybody's gonna know how chicken Clint Eastwood is. Like, it makes a good little joke. Right, you got the gumption. Here lies Clint Eastwood. It just doesn't get old. You get more laughs out of him being Clint Eastwood than you did Calvin Klein. What forfeit? What's that mean? It means you win without a fight, without shooting. Can't do that. Have a little bit of fun with kind of a lively way to approach the dire consequences. Oh, check out the dramatic lighting here on Clint Eastwood. I wonder if you could have got Clint Eastwood to get in here for a cameo. I mean, why not? Don't let me down. I'm betting on you. Screw your life, but I just don't want to lose the money. If I don't go out there, what? You're a coward. See that you'll always be branded a coward for the rest of your days. And Sheamus over here is trying to tell him, hey, you don't want to be goaded into this stuff. Remember the lesson. What happened to his gun? Didn't he have a Colt Python or Peacemaker given to him? He doesn't need someone sliding him a gun. I already got a gun, he says, and okay. You give him the countdown, you runt. Oh, he's calling me names. Oh, hey, Doc. Yeah, so it's been 10 minutes, huh? Oh, no, live fire. Oh, here he's going to get the idea. Well, hey, I can use what that cast iron stove door, which easily flew off. I can use that. Oh no, the train is going. We're cutting it close. Yeah, what you need is a wingman like this, a guy who knows your problems, swoops in behind the girl, starts planting the seeds. Oh no, your posse got him. Okay, Marshall's. We'll shoot him right in front of the marshal's office. Yeah, Marshall. What's he up to? Oh, where's Strickland? See, I tried to be the bigger man, and look what happened. I'm gonna have to stand up for him now. Great big brown puppy dog eyes, long silvery flowing hair. You know him. Oh no. I've got to go back. I don't think pulling on that will make. It's not the brake line. It's not going to make the train brake. It sends a signal to the engineer up there to hit the brakes. Or request. I think at least you do that sort of thing on a bus. That's going to be the case. Here we go. We're paying off that Easter egg from Fistful of Dollars in part 2. Oh yeah, the dramatic through the leg. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, finger kind of twitching closer to the gun. Who's gonna draw first? Yeah. What are we gonna do, huh? There are some guys incredibly skilled with this. Accurate as all heck. Lightning quick draw, quicker than you see in the movies. You'd be in serious trouble fighting up against them. What? You're dropping the gun? Settle like men. Well, what do you have in mind? Bam. You'd have to position that plate pretty high up the chest to cover that shot, because that was near the shoulder. Oh no. Well, see, I warned him, you gotta back down from these kind of things. Although, what choice did he really have? He's gonna shoot Doc. I mean, he tried to take your advice earlier. Oh, you banked on him walking within range to kick the gun out. Gotta reveal that, huh? I don't think that's where the shot came. Oh, a fist fight. Yay. He's proven that. Oh man, he has taken some serious blows to the head. I mean, cast iron, tombstone. The guy's got to be done. Resilient hat. Okay, once again he hits the manure like in the first film, but also the spin around from a punch, the knockout punch on a tannin, like the first movie. That manure there is the greenest looking Brussels sprout looking manure I can think of. Ugh, gross. Here lies nobody, because that tombstone broke. But they would have put something else in that plot, right? All right, so We're all clear on the not getting killed. We still got to get back to the future. Yeah, a little punch. It's worth $12. Never been used. Take care of that baby. Oh no, you're too late. What's this fanciful model with these, I don't know what's, batteries? Not the longest train I've ever seen. Come on, Doc. Come on, Doc, stunt double. No, obviously not Marty McFly in one of them shots. Ah, but some of it is. It's kind of surprising. Oh no, her hat fell off. This is urgent. We're double bad because we already know she can't stop a horse. Action Doc. Go. Masks on. Oh, just like today, guys. How come they don't have coal? They got wood. Alright, we're gonna have to get the DeLorean in on this. So dangerous how just anybody can walk by and switch tracks. Alright, we're letting go of the passengers. Bear in mind, this would have been Clara's train. She would have been on this train. But she left. Her causing them to stop might have provided the chance for them to catch up. Kind of cooler wheels than the 50s wheels. It's set up for running on a track now. Yeah, we got all the goods here. Compressed wood, chemical, whatever. It's gonna make a cool smoke. And we're off. Don't want to damage it too much. Put some tires over there. You know, well, you took the tires off, right? So you can use them for the bumper. Oh no, Claire's going to interfere. I think that's a miniature right there pushing. It didn't quite look right. It looked good, but not. Something looked a little off. Or if it wasn't a miniature, there was a dummy in the driver's seat of the DeLorean. Oh yeah, we're gonna have some fanciful smoke here. Oh, how is she ever gonna catch up? Oh yeah, we gotta do it before then. That's for sure. We don't need the boiler exploding. Clara, the action school teacher who couldn't stop the runaway one horse buggy type stagecoach thing, right? Like, I think they had to put in a special speedometer to indicate 95, otherwise it would have stopped at 85. Oh no. Look at that green smoke. I guess they don't really need the all that wood either. They could have jettisoned that and made it a little easier on themselves because they got their special wood, right? They need to go to 88 miles per hour. They don't need to go a long distance. Okay, I'm a little confused about what Doc's trying to work here, as he is wanting to stay behind, but he would have to get off the train to do that. But getting on the DeLorean, you'd go into the future. Kind of seems like there might be a better way to go about this. No, we can't have you staying there. That someone remember the train's going to fall. It'll be a disaster. Actually, okay, wait a minute. Doc was going to stay behind. Now he wants, and then he wants to catch up with Marty. I guess he'd have to hop over, grab hold of the DeLorean, possibly try to get inside. But now that she's here, now he wants to stay behind. So he's cool with that, or do something to not have her die in the ravine. Though it could still be called her ravine still if this happened. Hurry up, Doc. Come on. Engine's so slow for the drama. It's like he's not making any progress trying to reach her. Oh no. That's it. We're going to go maximum speed now. Okay, hold on. Did that say 75? I thought the speedometer said 95 max earlier. Could have sworn it. I saw 95 there. We still have the trusty hoverboard. Thank goodness. Save the day, hoverboard. Come on. It's Doc who gets to do something cool with the hoverboard this time. No, there's a composite shot for her dangling upside down, but it doesn't look bad. This part, though, where they skate away with the hoverboard, does look a little sketchy. Go! And it's as though Doc knows how to use it. Yeah, that's a pretty obvious composite thing there, but it could look worse. You don't need to put the hat on, Marty. Yeah, the time traveling effects look really sharp in this movie. Look at that stuff go. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Too bad nobody gets to see this crash, right, Doc? And they would not do that with an actual steam engine today. Spectacular explosion. A bit gossied up also with some animated smoke. Present day, the bridge is intact. Eastwood Ravine. Here's where Clint Eastwood died. Yep, he went over the ravine, never to be seen again. Well, name the ravine after him. Hilldale, newest homes. Well, what's that doing on the train track? Come on, Marty. Don't you remember how dangerous train tracks are? You got the crossing thing there. Come on, this isn't going to go well. Not for the DeLorean, baby. And we are about to see a smashed hero car. Actually, well, it may not have been designated hero car as it does get destroyed, but yeah, that's a shame right there. The money and memorabilia that could have been, but it had a destiny. And yeah, it's incredibly sad when the DeLorean gets taken out. This is like it losing a major character in a franchise. Well, that's it. Your time traveling days are over, Marty. I want to clean this stuff up, make sure no kids get anywhere near anything toxic. I don't think Doc actually planned for the DeLorean to get taken out by a train, but it worked out. Hey, you still got your Toyota. Hey, bud. Oh, didn't realize it was you. Didn't recognize those clothes. Yeah, so you still have the good, happy version of 85. You got that going for you. Your dad's got the BMW. There's not Crispin Glover. Who are you supposed to be, Clint Eastwood? Oh, great joke. Thanks, Biff. Like, so weird to say thanks to Biff. Look at all the trouble the Tannins have caused. Yeah, I don't think this is the same truck. You could see that that had a bit of an extended cab. Back in the day, the extended cab was a much smaller space. I think the original truck was strictly two-door, and that they couldn't quite get one the same way for whatever reason. But yeah, there are a little bit of differences that most keen viewers would not pick up on. Oh, hey, it's just the same truck from the '85 film. Still sleeping from where she was placed. Remember, time changed around her. She was placed in the destitute 1985, and now that you could still find her in this version of 85, I don't quite buy that logic there. You had a crazy dream there, Jennifer. Oh, yeah, Hilda, this is where we I mean, we're gonna live someday. Yeah, we're gonna be together someday, uh-huh. They definitely tried to make Elizabeth Shue look like Claudia Wells, didn't they? Like, I never really bought this thing with Flea, because Needles, there is no Needles in the first movie. There's no Needles in 1985 until now. I it, it seems a little random that he has a bully too, but it's not a Tannen, because the Tannins are always bullying the McFlys, but now not so much. Unless this is a Needles Tannen, I don't know. I mean, the character's there in 2015 in part two, but again, it seems like there's a weird disconnect. But this is the catharsis for Marty McFly. He's not going through with it. This is where he would have gotten injured and not been able to play the guitar. See, that car would have taken him out. I would have hit that Rolls Royce. The facts. It's erased. Well, what erased? See, she knows about the time machine stuff. She just doesn't seem to be. She was knocked out so soon. I wonder if she thinks it was just a dream, right? I mean, things still said you're fired. Oh no, the picture of Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood has been burned from history. And here we go. The introduction of true steampunk to the masses. Also, people will point out that one of the Brown sons is pointing towards his thingy, and maybe he needed to go pee, and he's like trying to motion, "Hey, I gotta go." But it was a take that was left in. Look at that fanciful Jules Verne style time machine. I don't believe we have goggles, do we? Contraptions, yes, there we go. Wow, how long have you guys been around doing stuff, huh? See, the ultimate benefactor gets to be Doc Brown because he still has the time machine. There's no telling how much more he's done with it. We know what the McFlys have gotten out of the time machine. Brought you a souvenir, huh? Souvenir, sorry. What could this be? Ah, the picture. You'll know that I thought it was destroyed, and therefore okay, whatever. Not going to worry about how that came to be. This note from the future, and now it's erased. Your future hasn't been written yet. Oh, it gives us so much hope, doesn't it? Yeah, he's kind of pointing there. Mm-hmm. It's not terribly distracting by any means. All right, we're going to see what... I think it's a flying train, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe we'll cross paths again. Hopefully we won't, because it's good to wrap a story up. Oh yeah, that looks pretty sweet, honestly. That is the hard work of model making right there, though we probably could have done something with the shadow below. And there we go. The end. And I don't think we're going to hear Back in Time. No, instead we got ZZ Top. So there you go, guys. That is Back to the Future Part 3. Did you guys like it? Did you guys enjoy the commentary? Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Till next time, this is Von Fry, Netflix Commentary Track. I bid you adieu.